Well, just how much power can any president of the United States have over the Federal Reserve? That is really one of the questions before the justices of the U.S. Supreme Court today. President Trump's removal of Lisa Cook from the Fed board is what sparked the issue on the court today. Mr. Trump moved to fire Cook in August, alleging she lied on mortgage documents. Meanwhile, Ms. Cook denies any wrongdoing. In the room today, the man President Trump has wanted out of his position, which is Fed Chair Jerome Powell. Last week, the Justice Department launched an investigation into Powell over his statements to Congress regarding renovations at the Fed's headquarters. Let's go live now to CBS News' Ling, who's listening in on this. Okay, so the Associated Press is saying that the Supreme Court is inclined to keep Lisa Cook in her position. What are you hearing as you listen into these arguments today?
We're hearing the exact same sort of tone from conservative justices as well as the more liberal justices. The idea here is, in its 112-year history, a sitting president has never fired a Fed governor before, and so there's no precedent here for this particular case. There was several comments and questions that really jumped out to us. We heard from key conservatives, including Justice Kavanaugh, Justice Amy Coney Barrett, Chief Justice Roberts. They all displayed this level of skepticism during the Trump administration's arguments that really point to us that we may be seeing an opinion that rules against the president. And the question is maybe what the margin will be, what will the vote look like, and then to what degree might they find the president to be in the wrong here. It was really interesting, too. You heard from Justice Jackson as well, and she asked, what would be considered sufficient notice to remove a Fed governor? In the case of President Trump, he issued that on Truth Social. Does that person who's being targeted have to be on social media? Is that fair in due process? Another point that was interesting here, Reed, is that several justices noted sort of how unusual the nature of this is, in addition to the allegation, but the way in which it was delivered, the speed in which it was delivered. So what we heard today from the Supreme Court was rather unusual, with Chair Powell in the room. And by the way, if we get an opinion soon by SCOTUS standards, that might be in a couple of months, and by then the U.S. legislature might be considering the new Fed chair nominee from the president. So consider the timing of that as well. But of course, the main issue here is whether or not the Fed can remain an independent agency with that reliable policy that is so critical to global markets, to the American consumer and beyond.
All right, fascinating days and argument. Ling, thank you so much for listening in and giving us an update.